Hannah, obviously, just if you would remind us of what happened to you and Steve. You were with Steve tonight. It's your birthday celebration tonight.
My birthday celebration. My birthday was on Tuesday, but it's my treat tonight, so it's been an eventful night.
If you can cast your mind back, you were here for the production at the Apollo Theatre. What do you remember seeing? What do you remember happening at around about 40 minutes into the performance?
So, about 40 minutes in, we were watching and enjoying the show quite happily, and we were up in the balcony a bit towards the back, and we were about 5 rows from the front just there, and we saw 2-3 people get up in the front row of the balcony bit, and then like quite quickly the next row and the next row, and they all started going that way, and then we heard a creak. And then the ceiling, which is presumably plaster or something, it just slowly and then just went, and just the whole thing just collapsed, just suddenly like that, and then instantly loaded us everywhere, and you couldn't see anything. And there was like, just look out something, but straight away the ushers in the aisles straight away opened the doors, don't run, exits this way, exit, and it wasn't mad, it wasn't like completely dark, lights up and things. So everyone just, a lot of people got out thankfully, but people down in the stalls, we could hear sort of a lot of, what's going on, and we couldn't really see, but we stood opposite the theatre doors because the police very quickly arrived, about 3 minutes, and then we were standing just this side and we just kept watching more people coming out just covered in dust, and there were 1 or 2 more serious cases that came out, and there was one lady that was on the floor and they had a blanket and the paramedics were seeing to her, and she had oxygen as well, and then I overheard one of the paramedics saying, I think he's got a suspected broken leg, and they were just gradually bringing more and more people out, and then people were sort of, a couple of people bleeding from the head, but they started ushering anybody who could sort of walk and could help carry anyone who was not like minorly injured into the theatre next door, and the ushers in the adjacent theatre got the chairs out, water on jugs and everything very, very quickly. More paramedics arrived, and as you see, it's all cordoned off now, and they're just dealing with it. So.
You said earlier on that you thought that this all happened roughly about 40 minutes into the performance itself. So
about. I don't know.
I know it would be difficult, but was it? Can you describe what it was like at that time? Was it dark? Were there actors on stage at the time?
It was relatively dark, and I was leaning forward like this, watching, because we were quite far back and we were right up in the top bit. But yeah, the show was amazing. Everyone was pretty captivated. Everyone was silent in the audience listening, which is why we could hear the creak. And I heard somebody from when we were chatting opposite outside, where somebody had an injured arm that was all bleeding. I was like, "You're okay? I'm fine." But he was saying, we thought it was sound effects to start with. We thought it was sound effects, and we looked around and then obviously saw like chunks of stuff falling. So yeah, it's just happened so fast. It's like, grab your coat, out, sort of thing. Yeah, didn't really know what was happening, and then just outside, you sort of heard more about what happened when you're outside. So
not only was it fairly dark at the time, it was then the whole theatre was completely plunged into a effective dust.
Straight away, literally, like a movie set sort of thing. I don't want to make it sound over dramatic, but it was just so quick, load of dust like that straight away. So yeah.
And then you obviously realised you had to get out.
Pretty much.
How did you feel at that point?
It was like a moment of kind of frozen, going, right, coat, run, sort of thing. Just go. And then there's people in front of us, people behind. And everyone was kind of like, you okay, yeah. Everyone was kind of communally like, let's get out. It wasn't every man for himself. It wasn't at all like that, not at all. And when people were outside, a couple of people said, are you okay? And we're like, no, we're okay. And then, communally people were asking, can we help and things. And there was a lady on the floor that needed a jacket. Somebody goes, she's cold, we need a jacket. And straight away my husband just like went, here, have my jumper, like straight away, and just keep her warm until the paramedics could bring blankets and things.
And that's Steve, isn't it?
That's Steve, yeah.
Steve. And Steve at the moment, he also talks of the ushers coming in very, very quickly, making sure that you all tried to leave as orderly as possible, because probably you guys were in a position where things weren't too bad at all.
It happened like just in front. It missed us all, thankfully. So yeah. But
presumably elsewhere, there wasn't calm, right?
Sorry, say again?
So presumably elsewhere, there wasn't calm.
Downstairs was we could heard people like screaming, going like this, but it kind of went. It was really strange. It went quiet relatively quickly. Where obviously they'd all realised what had happened. But I don't know whether anybody was unconscious down there. We couldn't see. It was too dusty. We couldn't see anything, and it was just the ushers going, please, this way to the exit. So yeah, I don't know. I couldn't see anything downstairs. I just heard things. So
yeah, I know it's difficult to quantify because it was very dusty. But yeah, can you kind of give us an idea of roughly how big an area was actually affected? I mean, you know, not in terms of the numbers of people, but maybe was it the size of I don't know, a large living room area, or was it much bigger than that?
It all happened so quickly, but I did actually glance up and look, and I mean, absolutely guess, I'd say there's at least a 2 metre by 2 metre chunk at least that came down. So, and you saw just kind of, you could see like the wooden kind of underneath of where the ceiling should have been. So yeah, there was a sizable chunk that was not there anymore. So yeah.
So a good 2 metres by 2 metres. So something that could have fallen down, a great weight could have at least come into contact with a dozen, if not more. People
coming out injured.
So. Which might explain the numbers that we're hearing at the moment, that 30 at the very least have been injured by all this, and the emergency services. I mean, when were you aware that they were there and on the scene?
I mean, we got outside and it was in about 3 minutes. We saw sirens, and it was the police arrived, then more police, then the ambulance, and then fire crews. Within 5 minutes, like everybody was there, and within 10 minutes. The cordons were going up and everything, and then they were moving people back, and they were very, very, very quick about it. So, and it was very much, you know, if you're in the theatre, we want you guys this way, and if you weren't, get back, you know. So, yeah.
Well, look, Hannah, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us. I'll let you rejoin Steve. If Steve fancies popping over and having a chat with us in a minute, I'm glad you're safe, and we're just going to move.